A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Butterball knows Thanksgiving can bring so much joy, but also so many cooking questions. What size turkey? What's the best way to roast? How do I carve it? Don't panic. Butterball is here to help. Just give us a ring at the Butterball Turkey Talk line. We'll help with what's on the table so you can focus on those around it. Call 1-800-BUTTERBALL or text 844-877-3456 to reach our turkey experts. Butterball. Today, we turkey.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything.
First of all, the question on everyone's mind as we get into this week of Christmas podcast, which I hope you've prepared Christmasal questions for. Christmasian, how are you doing without Gracie?
Bad still. I was thinking about,
Real bad.
we prep our top and bottom of the cob. We're very committed to this. And I was like, feels so disingenuous to do something besides her, but also how long can you say my dead cat? So it's kind of like.
But also it's enough already.
Yeah. I mean, it to an extent. For everyone else, like people only have so much. I mean, not to say people are being very kind, but you don't want to wear out that welcome.
Right. I mean, I can see it's affecting you. You've clearly let your personal hygiene go.
So much different than usual. I will say I am not sleeping because she is not coming up to me at 9:45 and telling me, basically like herding me to bed. So I realized, I was like, well, I've been going to bed late. Like I haven't been sleeping well. And I realized it's because all my routines are messed up.
You're like you just got out of a relationship and you're like, I don't know, I'm just up watching Thor Ragnarok on my Apple Watch.
I will admit this to you. I played 10 hours of God of War Ragnarok on Saturday, and then my hand hurt because I didn't like get up to feed her. I didn't go, it was.
Emily, you're going to need to commit much more time to that if you want to become a mass shooter. So, really start work them thumbs. That's a lot.
Those
and I want to get your eyes checked out. It's tough. I get it. Look, let's just talk about how it's one of the best weeks of the year. Did I take a meeting yesterday and then have a financial meeting today? Yes, because the world doesn't fully stop just because it's Christmas, but it mostly stops. But I went to a comics holiday party yesterday, and I went after a show, and it was a really elegant, like lovely party. And they had a hot chocolate station, which is how I would do it. Like it's the station you dream of. Like there was hot chocolate, there was something else hot. It may have been coffee, and they had crushed candy cane and they had whipped cream. I may have made up the whipped cream, and they had sprinkles, and I drank 2 hot chocolates with a peppermint stick and lots of marshmallows, and I was having the best time. And then I wondered why I couldn't go to bed. Well, also something happened, which will be part of my bottom of the cob, which was awful. But I just love, it's like the week of the year where we're going to have a little Hanukkah block party. I planned it with 2 other moms. Thus begins my cycle as a mom who plans parties. And I'm into it.
Yeah.
Going to all the holiday parties, trying not to get RSV, just trying to be healthy and go to parties. Loving it.
I need to get my next booster next week. I heard on a podcast that I listen to, Best Friends with Nicole Byers, Sashir Zameda. She was talking about how she's going to do like a hot drink party, which I think is a really good idea. Like where, it's hot chocolate is like mulled wine.
Yeah, that's
it's
what
like
I'm making.
Hot cider. And I was like, that's a fun theme.
Here's why that's a bad idea. Because it ain't that cold in LA. And after like 1 or 2 hot drinks, you're like, I need water. This is so gross. That being said, I will be making a spiked mulled cider for my Hanukkah party. But
See?
you're not going from hot chocolate to mulled cider to mulled wine because then you're just going to puke.
Yeah.
Also, Christmas gets this reputation for being this very like sweet time of year. But like if you're at a party, you want the proteins. You want your starches, your carbohydrates. You want pigs in a blanket. You want fried things. You're not wanting, like I don't know why they keep feeding this to me in my algorithm, a Little Debbie Christmas cake dip, which is just mashed up Little Debbie like white chocolate Christmas cakes. I have a weird thing against, when I say synthetic, I'm talking about like anything pre-prepared, like Reese's or a cake you would buy or Twinkies or Ding Dongs, like anything that's like manufactured. I have an issue with those as ingredients being used in something freshly baked, except for Oreo for some reason. Like, I know that there are chemicals put on these things to keep them fresh forever, and then you incorporating them into something fresh, it feels like unholy. Like, remember that show Semi-Hard with Sandra Lee, where she would like take...
Semi-hard?
Wasn't it called Semi-Hard?
I don't know. That doesn't sound like, what is it about?
It's called semi-homemade. You were supposed to be like, no, it's semi-homemade. Anyways, she would take like canned cherries and a pre-made cake, but then she'd make her own icing, or more famously, her Kwanzaa cake, which literally no person who celebrates Kwanzaa has ever made this cake. And she stuck like candelabra candles in it. Anyway, I think it's gross. When I see a recipe, it's like, hey, all you moms out there in North Dakota, here's a quick and easy cream cheese ho-ho recipe. Just buy a store-made cake, stick a drumstick in it, and pepper it with love. Homemade or no made. Anyways, that dip looks like the 8th horseman of hell.
What do I put them on? If I mash up the cakes, what do I put them on? Another
like
cake?
A cracker or like a cookie. And I'm like, just thinking about like unwrapping. And like if your recipe involves unwrapping several little cakes from plastic things, just eat the fucking initial one in its true Christian form. Just eat the Christmas tree. This whole speech I just gave was like, sounded like I'm having a stroke. I have my heater on very high and I sometimes get a little nauseous. Folks, jingle jangle, jingle horse. Here it is. We're here.
Did you say jingle horse or jingle whores?
It definitely said jingle horse. But we're here. We're here with all of your holiday issues and questions. I'm sure some of you are having Christmas weddings. We got the answers for you.
Christmas weddings.
Because there's a lot of questions that go into like holiday party etiquette. We were invited to a party recently where you had to get a proper PCR test. And like those results had to be emailed. You couldn't like take a picture of your antigen test you took at home.
Was this a company party or a humans party?
It was a company party.
Okay.
It was for Good Mythical Morning. Noah
fun.
is doing business with these men. I've done the show. Really nice guys. I ended up feeling sick, so I didn't go, which is like so me to like look forward to like a nice party all year and then be like, my throat. But I really respected that. And at the party yesterday, they did COVID tests outside, but then they gave you like a little valet ticket. So you could go in the party while your test went through. And I'm like, if you have COVID, they just come get you. I'm like, I guess you can't have done that much damage. Although I guess germs have a way. But I'm all for the testing. And for my birthday party that we're going to be talking about later, I'm going to require PCR tests. I am not trying to like live my life just enjoying myself between COVID stints and like rhinovirus stints. So you can say it's not real, but I'm not trying to die.
I told my parents you were going to Iceland for your birthday. And my dad's like, I want to go with her. And I said, okay, yeah, you can go with her and her husband. That'll be really fun. He's like, I think we would have a really good time. And I was like, I'll let her know. So
Great. See you at the airport.
My family's now very obsessed with you.
Great, as they should be. It took them long enough.
Well, yeah. It's been, how long have we been apart? A year and some months. And they're
Speaking
like, that
of,
Iliza.
Speaking of, my assistant is leaving.
Oh, but no one listening can apply for the job.
Yeah, do not do that. I think it's pretty
Okay.
obvious in the job posting who this is for. I had her write the description, and then it's like, must be okay with hanging out with a tiny, small, cute white dog. And I was like, take the white part out. That way no one knows it's me. Even though the email is like to Iliza's assistant at Hotmail.
That's because I did the same process and I would get emails from people that are just like, is this who I think it is? I'm like, no, it's the other one.
Folks,
Like,
I know
yeah.
you think it's going to be this like awesome comedy romp. Like it's mostly me being like, can you post this for me and get me toothpaste? And sometimes you get to go to cool events and you get a lot of free stuff, but like we're not
Don't
like
sell them on it. They can't apply. You're going through professional resources.
No, we are. I'm just saying, like, I think people are like, oh man, there's gonna be so much comedy. I'm like, there is, but it's also like me in my pajamas asking you to like run out and get me some more coffee beans, and I've got a doctor's appointment.
It is interesting because I think you come out of a job like that probably as the assistant either really liking or really hating the person because
she likes
you're
me.
Very 100%. I'm just saying, like you're spending all day, every day with like this one person that you admire.
But that's the other
and
thing.
So it's tough.
I think people think of personal assistants like the shit that Real Housewives make their flock of assistants do. And like some days I don't even see Taylor. Like she'll get a text at like 5 o'clock. I'm like, can you grab me a salad? But like, there's no, they don't even have a
'cause
desk
as
for her.
As a
Job is
boss,
involved.
you do trust that the person's going to do their stuff, which isn't always the case
I'm a
with
big
bosses.
motivator. I'm a big self-starter person. And I told her, I go, I cannot micromanage you. Like, here are the things, just get them done. Do not make me follow up.
No, but what made me so mad, I will say, and this makes me mad in every job, is when you're gonna do something like it's on your schedule, it's what you're working on next, and then the person goes, "Have you done this thing yet?" And then it looks like you only did it because they asked, but
It
really
does.
it was part of your schedule.
Yeah, but when it's every time, it's like, oh, I was about to, then it's a lie.
Well,
there's
then
no
it's
way.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, it only makes it mad when it's legit. Okay, this doesn't apply
she's
to
leaving
anyone.
me at the worst time of year because no one's looking for a job now. So
No, it's a good time of year because Hollywood is wrapped down.
no. It's bad because now I got to do this by myself instead of her finding me a new assistant. I got to go on vacation. I come home. So, Taylor, I hope your new job is awful. No, she's a good
No,
kid.
you don't.
I don't.
Maybe
She's good.
she'll come back in a year.
No, I won't even be here. I will have moved. There'll be no one at the door. Like Flight of the Navigator when he goes home and it's like a different family there. Okay. Old reference. Kick it.
I started a new job in May after leaving an unbelievably toxic workplace. There were a lot of reasons for me to leave, but two people in particular that contributed heavily to the toxicity. One guy, let's call him
Taylor, is that you? Okay.
One guy, let's call him Colin, started working after me but got promoted before me despite
Colin
doing
Powell?
significantly less.
Okay.
They spelled it COLON. He constantly mansplained things, talked shit about his boss, and would never admit fault for any of his mistakes. The other asshole was this girl we'll call Jill. Jill got the job through a family friend when the company was still new and now is dating one of the senior engineers. She thinks she's superior to everyone due to her seniority and uses it as an excuse to slack off. She forgot she was presenting in our weekly meetings not once but twice and simply laughed it off. Anyone else would have had their head cut off. Jill and Colin constantly talk shit about other people and even discussed making a podcast where they would make fun of people's resumes.
Cool.
Needless to say, they're both garbage people, but I played nice while I was there to avoid being on their bad side. After I left on my last day, I blocked them both on Instagram because we were never friends. I didn't want them seeing what I was up to. I also blocked Colin on LinkedIn because I didn't want to see his further promotions. I was never connected with Jill. They noticed the next day, a Friday, and it became the talk of the office.
Oh my God. Why didn't you wait till you were gone? Why do it with one day left? You wanted them to know.
This person, they're gone. No, question asker left. They harassed my boss and former coworker asking why I had done it. Should I have waited to block them or are they psychotic for noticing the day after? Much love for you in the podcast gang, sending my condolences to Emily. Okay.
It doesn't matter because you already did it. People keep asking for advice. They're like, here's what I did. I killed 12 people. Should I have not done it? It doesn't matter. You did it. Move on. You've left the job. You never need to think about these people again. I guess I don't know your industry, so it's only a weird look if it's like a small circle thing or if it's like showbiz where everyone talks. I don't know if it's necessary to block them. You should always mute. I follow mute. That way everything looks cool and nobody needs to know because there's really no benefit to them knowing that you've done this. But push comes to shove. It's also, they didn't reach out to you to be like, why did you do this? So to them, you just look crazy. Like they probably don't realize that you don't like them. And it's just like, wow, I always thought she was cool. So you did lose the opportunity for them to ever be cool to you because now they know that you never liked them, but it doesn't matter. You're not there and they'll probably sink their own boat. Is that a metaphor?
It just is bizarre. I don't want to know if someone, there's actually only one person in my life where I know they unfollowed me. And I do think about it because it was so strange. And they're also one of only a handful of people across my entire life who I know talk shit about me to other people. And so
now you know.
I do think about that, but I would never call that person out on it. Like this
She
just is
didn't.
further
She
proof
called
of
the
why.
boss.
Well, that's why this is further proof of why those two people are awful weirdos, that they went to your old boss. You don't work there anymore. Why do they care?
Also, why do you care? We're moving on. It doesn't matter. I remember one time on Twitter, I unfollowed someone. They had done nothing wrong. I just didn't care about their take. That's what you have to understand. Not everybody cares about like your tweets, your take, your pictures of your life. And she DM'd me. She was like, can you please refollow me? And it's just like, really, we should be allowed to unfollow people. Like, just because I met you and connected with you at like my best friend's cousin's party 8 years ago, like, I know what your kids look like. I'll never see you. We have to really, it's like millennials are just like, hey, this is forever, right? Like, don't check on that shit. Don't ever look.
It does feel like a big commitment now to follow someone.
I follow a lot of people, and then if I get tired of them, I just mute them. Like if I'm tired of looking at pictures of you like dressing up your like okay looking dog, like I just don't care. Oh, cool. This is your Tuesday morning outfit. Like, oh, cool. Hot fire. Alert the presses.
I'm trying desperately not to just post photos of my cat now. I'm like, I have other things that are
Listen to me.
Sympathy, you know.
Emily, you live your fucking life. And like if it makes you feel good to post pictures, that is your process. And if people have a problem, they can mute you and you'll never know because you're not a crazy person. The whole point of social media, I said this last week, is like so people can watch you. This is not a two-way street. This is not about you getting the feedback about your post. And for everyone that doesn't like it, there are people that do. People need to see Tianfu both in the bathroom and on the bed and in my arms and in my mouth. And if you don't like it, go listen to a podcast where they like shit on women. I don't know. Leave me alone. But also follow me.
Yeah.
Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Iliza50 and use code Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Iliza50 at factormeals.com/Iliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling. And nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only, exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat that's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
Greetings, favorite podcast gang. I am a longtime listener and promoter of all things Iliza to my circle and beyond.
Yes.
I finally have a question that I simply cannot answer myself. I, 30, female, am currently on maternity leave from my job as an architect. During the pandemic, my work became remote and my husband and I moved out of Toronto so we could finally afford a house and start a family. But now that the pandemic is over, they want us to come back to work 3 days a week, making my commute over an hour each way. I knew this was a possibility when we moved, and at the time I told myself I would just find another job after maternity leave. But here's the catch. I want to have another baby as soon as medically safe to do so. And I know this next pregnancy is going to require a lot of medical intervention, meaning a lot of time needed off work. My old job has always been good about personal time off, and they would be understanding of this, while I can't guarantee a new job would give me the time off I would need. Should I stay with my old job and suffer the commute while trying for this next baby? Or should I move on to find a closer job that's better for our lifestyle with our current son and hope for the best? There's no guarantee I'll get pregnant right away, so all the unknowns are what's making me indecisive. P.S. I'm isoimmunized, and that's why the pregnancy will be high risk, requiring bi-weekly ultrasounds from the start, likely requiring multiple in utero blood transfusions that require days off work. It's a hellish condition that I don't wish on anyone.
Jesus. I don't think legally they can cite you if you do get pregnant and you need that time. I think especially in Canada. So your issue right now is, do I want to spend 6 hours actually a week in my car going back and forth? Because you're afraid you won't get those same benefits elsewhere. I don't know. Are you a good architect? Are you like a master architect or are you just like an underling? Are you confident enough in your skill set that you could go somewhere else? I appreciate that you're wanting to have this baby, and you're absolutely right and smart to be like, I don't know how long this will take. But I think those multiple weeks commuting might make more stress, and that's probably not something you need when you're trying to get pregnant. I think be honest with your boss and be like, I physically don't think I can do this. I am capable from working from home. Be like, I want to continue with this company. Is there a way we can make this work? And if they say no, then I don't think those are the types of conditions that you need. If this does not impact your work and you still get your things in on time and you are of value, then they will see that long-term value. Maybe you can come in once a week, Yeah,
I think there's some flexibility, it seems, as companies start to go back to work, where it's like certain people kind of don't follow the rules. Certain people just don't go in. See what you can get away with in terms of, do I actually have to go to the office? Can you get a doctor's note that says you can't go in the office? Can you get anything to get out of it?
Never forget, and women need to know this, squeaky wheel gets the grease. You will not get if you do not ask. And it's going to suck if another woman or another person gets this and you're like, why do they get that? Well, she asked and she had a condition. And it's going to piss some people off, but you're not worried about them. You're worried about making your money, doing your job well. You never want to be the person that gets special privilege and doesn't do the job well. And usually people cannot keep those two straight. And it's as long as you are flawless in your execution and you do your work, nobody can touch you. So ask. I bet you haven't asked, and I bet you haven't had that frank conversation. And if they're not willing to make that space, then maybe this isn't the kind of place that deserves you, if you're good. Or maybe you're just designing Pizza Huts. I don't know.
if you can get away with sticking it out there so that you're not kind of joining a new company and starting off on a totally legitimate but probably wrong foot when you immediately are gone all the time, do it. But keep an eye out for jobs. Like casually search. You don't have to hit the grindstone, but always have an eye out because you never know when an opportunity is going to come your way.
Last thing I'm going to say is like more and more, especially in a post-pan world, like be the architect of your own future. Put out there what you want, the types of things that you want, and just move in that direction. What does Thoreau say? Like go forward in the direction of your dreams. You want that baby? You start working toward that baby and everything else fills in. When you have, what's the thing where like you've got a jar and you got big rocks and little rocks. You put the big rocks in first and then the sand fills around it. The little rocks fill around it. People are always like, how do I make time for this? How do I make sure I get these? Just do them and life finds a way to conform around it. There's no version where you work hard, you have this baby and you're still traveling 6 hours a week if you nip this in the bud now. So just start doing it. Start asking, start trying to have that baby, and things have a way of moving around, much like your internal organs do when you grow a baby. Just go. Just ask. Just start doing it. And all of a sudden, you will be living that life that you wanted.
Hello, everyone. I guess this is the part where I say that I'm a 35-year-old straight female. First,
Finally.
let me say thank you.
Finally, we get a woman on here.
Well, this is my first time asking a question. Y'all's advice to other listeners helped me end a friends with benefits situation, and I am so grateful. Second, my question. There's a guy at work, pause for hot Scotty sound effect with girls oohing or something.
Hey!
Bingo! Holy moly! Button it up.
That I have a bit of a crush on. He and I video chat all the time on Teams. He initiates. We work from home but live in the same town. Recently, he has invited me to grab dinner, and the amount that he calls me during the day at work has significantly increased from maybe once a day to now at least 2 or 3 times daily. We work on the same team, so we've lots to discuss, but also seem to have similar upbringings and life experiences as well. My biggest question is relationships at work, yay or nay? I've dated a guy before where we worked together, and when we broke up, people chose sides. But I know for many others, thus this podcast included, meeting people at work can work. No pun intended. Thoughts, advice, any insight is appreciated. Thanks so much.
You go to dinner. I don't know the job. I don't know the environment. I don't know this guy. You can go to dinner, and if he sucks, you can be like, yeah, we just grabbed dinner. I don't know what he's making a big deal about. There is the version where this is a great guy. There's also the version where you date and break up and you guys are like totally cool. So my advice would be like, do not get wasted and sleep with this person, even though I would totally do that and like tell you I didn't do that. So just go get dinner or grab a coffee or do like a group setting because you don't really know what this guy is like one-on-one, and don't just be dating him just because he's around. So if you are attracted to him and you do like him, go get dinner. Big deal. It's just a job. It's just a job.
The fact that you're working from home cuts down a lot of that kind of like don't shit where you eat thing of like, it's not like you have to go see him every day. You probably don't need all these Teams calls and you're just doing it because you like talking to each other. If you broke up, you just wouldn't talk to him via video chat every day and it would be fine and you would get your work done. So you're in an environment where it's probably fine.
Just do it. You're not shitting where you eat. You would have to then get drunk, break into your office and have sex there because you're working from home. Go get the dinner. Keep it casual, have an exit plan unless he's awesome, and then you'll just proceed from there. Hopefully you aren't dating someone who's a monster, and even if you do break up, it's okay. But go get dinner. Don't put your life on hold for some like integrative team building ad agency. I don't know what people do. I have no idea.
You don't know what people's jobs are.
I really don't, and it's hard because I'm like, just book a different gig.
Yeah. Yeah, most people's paycheck come from one single person that they have to not make mad, or one single entity that they have to not make mad. You could just be like, buy this organization. I've got 15 more organizations paying me this year.
But that comes down to being indispensable. Like when you are undeniably good at your job, you can be like, fine, if you don't give me what I want, I'm going somewhere else because I'm that good. And I have all your passwords. Stan.
I do have all their passwords.
You have all my passwords.
Probably, yeah, because no one hack Iliza. Hi, Iliza, Emily, Hot Scotty, Tianfu, Sierra, Noah, with a special shout out to Hunter, Greg, and Michelle.
What? They don't do anything for you. My best friend Michelle, if you listen, she doesn't even know I have a podcast. Greg's on hiatus and Hunter's with his family somewhere. So fuck all of them.
By the way, I cried over Blanche and Gracie Lou. I've lost 3 dogs in the past few years. So all I can say is that you are wonderful pet parents. Just hold on to the memories as best you can.
Yeah.
Long time listener here, so I'll make it short. And this person actually did, which I appreciate. They didn't send a novel. I left my job at the end of 2021 because of stress and the fact that I wasn't sober. I began a new position after some medical issues shockingly unrelated to drinking, and I managed to stay on for about 5 months. Then I went to rehab on emergency leave. It was the most horrendous experience, but I came out a better, sober man and don't regret it. My home life is better by 1,000%, and my husband and I have never been happier. I went back to work at the same place, amazing company, wonderfully compassionate, but I've been met with trepidation as to performance. I've been exceeding expectations and goals with my managers, but there's definitely an air of distrust. Only a select few people know why I left, and I've had about 5 months back. Do I just keep my head down and silently crush things? At what point would it be acceptable for me to speak up and say that I've been doing a great job? Love and light to you all, and I hope you have a great new year.
Well, is it the managers that are showing trepidation?
I assume the
Are they the
people
only ones that know? Or the managers?
Yeah, so only a few people know, so I would assume those people.
I think it's always good to get, like, I do believe in, like, head down, just keep working because proof is in the pudding. But if you are saying you've already proven that, I think for your own peace of mind, and because I'm a big believer in, like, let's just get this out in the open. Since you have the track record, it would be different if you hadn't been doing well and you're like, just so you guys know, you can trust me. But you've been doing well, so you say.
Mm-hmm.
I also would, like, contextualize that trepidation. Like, is it in your head? Like, make sure it's not, because you don't want to come across as paranoid. And if you bring it up, they'll be like, well, should we? So if you know this is concrete, if you have examples, which you don't need to bring up, request a little meeting and be like, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the way you've welcomed me back. And I, like, kind of acknowledging, like, hey, I've been killing it, and anything else you want to give me, like, I'm here, I'm locked in. I wanted to prove to everyone that I'm here, and it's been about 6 months. I hope you're happy with my performance. And I just want to say, I'm here.
Yeah, I wonder if you can kind of just say at 6 months, say, like, I'd love to just have kind of like a little review of what I've done over 6 months and what I'm looking to do
without
for the
asking
next
for
6
a
months.
raise.
No, just like, hey, let's talk about, I've appreciated the grace that you've extended me. So I want to talk about what I've accomplished and what my goals are for the next 6 months. Just like the very professional version of here's the value I've brought to the company. And don't even say anything about, like, I feel like you guys have been nervous. It's
yes,
just kinda like,
do not say
hey,
that.
Here's where I'm at.
Yes.
Here's what I'm looking to do. Is there anything that you think I could be improving on, or anything that you want to change in the process in the new year? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And by the way, you owe no one an apology. Like, you've all agreed to come back. You're working on yourself. Nobody's perfect. I think that's great. I think it would show tremendous initiative. And that way, if it is in your head, you just look awesome versus paranoid. Do that. And especially since you're doing it without asking for a raise, they're going to be like, whoa, we better load Clark up with extra work for President's Day.
Right.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
This Thanksgiving, Butterball wants you to really connect. Let's get back to laughing around the table, sharing stories, and making memories. Let's talk like we used to. We'll help with the turkey so you can enjoy being together. Visit Butterball.com for turkey tips.
Hey, Eliza and Emily.
Where's all the Christmas questions?
You said everybody's
Jesus
Christmas
Christ.
except for us. So we're doing people changing their lives for the better question for the new year.
I hate it.
Well, okay. You're like Christmas others people. Everybody's got their Christmas trees, blah, blah, blah.
I did say that.
That's not what you said, but I think that sentiment is everybody else is doing Christmas questions right now. Can't people who don't celebrate Christmas listen to this podcast and just think about the new year and people's job and bridesmaid situations?
Go eat a cold latke and call me in the new year. All right.
But we do need to say something about Christmas so I can put some related hashtag in our Instagram reel and get more views.
Okay. This Christmas, talk to a therapist at BetterHelp. Jingle, jangle.
Jingle, jangle. All right. Hi, Iliza and Emily. I met you at your show, Minnesota, at the Mystic Lake Casino and had the best time. It was such a great performance. Here's my question. I love when people start out like, they're like, I have to, like, that's the trade to get your question answered. They're like, I offer up a compliment and now what I'm asking of you. And I like that.
It's a fair trade. And that was the last show of the Back in Action tour officially. So we had a great time.
Good show.
Yeah.
I'm a 26-year-old female who has been talking to the ex-boyfriend I haven't moved on from, clearly. My question essentially leads to if you think people can largely change or if some mistakes/character flaws are just part of a person's habits and nature. Context. We had our issues, but there is a specific one I'm having a hard time getting over. He's a few years older than me. We started dating in college and for a multitude of reasons ended up breaking up. Years later, in many attempts to get back together, it surfaced that he had cheated on me with one of my friends that I worked with that also happens to be my best friend's husband's mother. So he cheated on her with her best friend's mother-in-law.
Yeah, that's fucking weird.
Anyway, it's really not the act of it that hurts me as much as the fact that he didn't have the respect to tell me or at least break up with me after it happened. I don't think he ever would have told me. Obviously, a lot has happened and changed since then, but I find myself coming back to that incident. Do you think there's a chance he actually could have changed and wouldn't repeat an action like that? Or are people of the ability to do something that deceitful unable to change unless they get professional assistance? Any insight or perspective you have is appreciated. And then an important PS. Your new book is displayed in my apartment like a Catholic in their Bible. Thank you for all the reality checks. And
thank you.
Laughs.
She's like, I haven't read it yet, but it is displayed. Listen to me.
Wrapper.
It's in its shrink wrap. The answer is both. Yes, people can change. He says he's a couple years older than you, especially in our 20s. Like almost nothing should be held against you. Like we've all made those mistakes. That's a weird partner to choose. That's not like I met a girl while I was on vacation. I think that trust is gone. I think you want to love him. You have a connection. You spent a lot of your formative years with this man, but this isn't the guy for you. And if it is, you're going to need to take like a couple years off and come back when you're like almost in a different decade. You're forcing it with this guy because of a past connection you have. That's an egregious mistake. And it's a weird one because now you're connected to this person. You're going to see that person at like a holiday, at a party. So run, do not walk. And if you need to revisit him when you're like 30, great. But this guy, you owe him nothing and you're living in the past.
I think the issue is, yes, people can change, but it sounds like this man hasn't made any indication he has changed in any way.
You jumping through hoops. Look at all the work you're doing. You're writing into your this podcast. Look at all the work you're doing to give him the benefit of the doubt. And this guy is like, yo, I fucked your friend's mom. Like, ew. Yeah, people can change sexual partners, and he did on you. Move on. And when you do, and you do find someone that treats you with respect, you're going to cringe that you put up with this loser for this long.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it, baby.
Anonymous. I am a 30-year-old woman with a master's degree in behavior analysis. I work at a clinic for kids on the autism spectrum. I work as a supervisor to a group of Gen Z girls who are in their early 20s, fresh out of college. These girls are great at their jobs and fun to be around. I have no issues with them other than this. These girls have recently banded together in a sort of revolution against my boss, the owner of the company, to ask for higher pay and health insurance, all of which they deserve, and I am glad they did. My boss ended up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to make all these changes and give them what they asked for. She was able to do it, but at a huge cost for a small business owner. In addition, I've been working my ass off advocating for them and covering for them all to make sure they don't become burnt out and are satisfied with their job. However, all of this is seemingly going without any thanks, and now they keep approaching me with more things they want to demand, implementing spring break, half days on Fridays, etc. How do I tell them they are asking for too much while remaining someone they can trust? They are starting to give off major entitled vibes, but I don't know how to help them realize this without becoming an enemy. What would Iliza and Emily do in my position?
Oh, man.
I would be curious what this person's role is at the clinic, because it sounds like maybe she's some sort of counselor for these girls on professional behavior and how to approach the boss. So she would be well within her rights to say, you already got so much.
Yeah.
No one else is getting these other things. Like jobs, This isn't what happens at jobs.
This isn't, especially you work at a clinic. It's not like you work at like a tech startup or something.
Well, so she works at a clinic for kids on the autism spectrum, and she's supervising this group of girls who have oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah. These are not the girls on the spectrum.
Okay. These are girls working at the clinic and they want this?
That's
so you're
what
not
I'm
even
That's what I'm thinking you're saying. This really, I have very little experience with this other than watching social media. This comes down to a generational difference. And you see this in comedy videos. It'll be like the way millennials ask for a raise versus Gen Z. Millennials are used to, even though we got called lazy, like doing work, like eating shit, and having some manners. And Gen Z, and I'm not saying one is better than the other. Gen Z is like, here's what we're worth. Here's what I fucking want. I don't fucking care. And that's a great go-getter attitude, I guess, as long as the work you're doing is worth it. I do think when you're younger, I think now that we've been shown that there's a different way to live and what a scam work hours are, I think a lot of young people are like, I'm giving my life to this. You should have benefits. You should be able to live. And you should get some time off. And so I think a recalibration of the way we see these things. And look, they're asking for these things and they're getting them. And you're a little bit older. So we're like, well, back in my day, I don't know where the line is at that company or in corporate America of like what you should get versus what you shouldn't. And because I don't know their job. But if they really want it, they need to not just ask you. And that's a very real fear that they will become an enemy because young girls can be very mean and Gen Z, like they're ruthless and often myopic. And they're like, I deserve more. It's like, fine, go start an OnlyFans. Like you're working at a clinic.
Right.
Like this is next to charity. Like you're basically at a nonprofit.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, and also I don't know that, I don't know your role in relation to you're supervising them. I don't know how much research you should have to do for this, but is it possible to pull together like comps of like, look, here are what other clinics are offering? Or, hey, Gen Z girls, tell me one company besides school that has spring breaks for their employees and half-day Fridays.
Maybe you take an like pull out 30,000 foot bird's eye view and be like, here's what makes sense, here's what doesn't. But some of these things do, like a lot of people in a post-pandemic world are doing half-day Fridays. You know, it's tough because this new generation is looking at work-life balance with fresher eyes and we have old eyes. And it is tough when you did do all the things and new people are like, I want more for doing less. And it's like, and they're getting it. So if you can remove the emotion and be like, here's what makes sense and here's what doesn't. But don't worry about that. Like you're supervising them. You also don't need to be their friend.
Also, if they, I mean, that's the big thing. But if they take a week off for spring break, who do they think is working there? Like, what do they think happens to the people that you're helping at your clinic? Like, it just is so, there's such a disconnect between them being like clocking in and clocking out and what their job is.
I mean, also, I understand that people who have jobs where they don't feel appreciated are like quiet quitting, do the bare minimum, clock in, clock out. But if this job is supporting you and it's a nice environment, I don't think we should be grateful for health insurance personally. Like you shouldn't be grateful that you can make ends meet. But if it is a loving, nurturing, good environment, then it isn't right to treat it like this doesn't fucking matter. That attitude is reserved for soulless jobs that don't care if you die. So it's kind of like, you cannot create this environment where you're like, I'll take what I can get. I want to live my life. Fuck them. And also have a supportive job. So I'm not sure the environment there.
Yeah.
I don't
reminding them of the work that's already been put in, the money that's already been put in. You're a small business. You're not like Walmart. You know,
Also,
you can't be as scared of these kids, though. They are going to bully you. These Gen Z kids are going to be mean to you, and you just have to deal with it. You're their supervisor.
Never forget that you do have life experience, and you do know things that they don't know. And they are doing the squeaky wheel gets the grease. But also, like, you're the one that wanted the job at a small mom and pop clinic.
Yeah.
If you want to like fight City Hall, go work a corporate job or at City Hall.
Yeah.
If you really want to like stick
Or
it to the man and like squeeze for all your benefits, then do it to a soulless company.
be a teacher and get summers off and spring break, and then really it's not off because you're prepping all your stuff because you have no support.
Yeah, be a teacher. Learn how to you learn tactile weapons training and CPR and everything about nut allergies and get shit on and make $10 a year.
Yeah, you can't have the best parts of every industry.
I think too, something that Gen Z probably struggles with is you go online and everybody's living their best life. And your friends are in Maseratis and they're on these vacations and they all look perfect. Most of the time, these people are broke. But a lot of people are making a lot of money being influencers or on TikTok. And so it's difficult. It probably sucks to be 25 and you're working a shitty job and you're seeing all these people like quote unquote thriving. What you do have to remember, most of it's fake. Most of the people don't have any money in the bank. Most of these people are just like cash rich and then everything else poor. But even if they suck and are annoying, the people who make money at these things, it is a job.
Yeah.
They are posting, editing. They are slowly going blind. They are creating content. Like this isn't like you just fart out what I ate in a day and you get 12 billion followers. So there is still work that goes into all of it, even if you are your own boss. And I can say that as someone who is my own boss. It is 24/7.
Yeah. Okay, I have a very long question for you so you can eat your sandwich. Anonymous.
Okay. And there's a
No, it's holiday
listen.
and it's long. The timing is perfect.
listen to this pickle. Is that gross?
I couldn't really hear it. I'm sure it'll be more apparent in the audio of the recording. I
I'm sure
dropped
I'll
a
get
pickle on the
some-
ground yesterday and then I ate it anyway. That's where I'm at.
That's my update. Back to you.
That's my update. Yeah. I'm a longtime listener of the pod and fan of Iliza. My husband and I drove to the taping of Freezing Hot in Denver, and you can hear him laughing at one point. I'm a 29-year-old woman, not a nurse. I work in tech, and I'm struggling with not feeling heard or seen with my parents, especially around the holidays or gift-giving occasions. Over the last couple of years, I've come to terms with my parents being neglectful and emotionally abusive when I was a child. I've put a lot of work into being a cycle breaker. My husband and I live in New York City and have lived here for almost 8 years. Also, they drove from there to Denver. Every gift-giving occasion.
You drove from New York City to Denver? Thank you.
That's commitment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then laugh
weird.
real loud.
That's weird. No, yeah, they needed a
No.
break. I can't believe we didn't die. All right.
Every gift-giving occasion, my parents will ship a box of gifts to my husband and I in New York City from where they live in Salt Lake City. Every time, without fail, the box is filled with mass-produced garbage that we do not want. The shipping is more expensive than the sum of the items inside. We are very explicit when they ask us what we want, and they disregard our requests and send garbage. This year, I was laid off from my job and had to rely on savings, my husband's income, and severance for a few months. I have a new job, but we're still getting our footing back financially. My mom asked what we wanted for Christmas. I told her that we desperately need gift cards for groceries or essentials to places like Trader Joe's or Target. I have a side gig as a professional artist and gave her the additional idea for a gift card to an art supply store to restock from the heavy amount of work I produced between jobs. She insisted that we needed something to open on Christmas morning. So I sent her a link to a coat that my husband wanted and a link to a box of Christmas cookies from my favorite vegan bakery. She bought the coat for my husband. My husband and I live in a small apartment and practice a sustainable lifestyle, so purposeful gifts are welcome, and we like to give gifts that the recipient will actually use, quality over quantity. This afternoon, the 19th of December, we received the box of gifts. I eagerly opened it, hoping that this time would be different. On top was a thoughtless box of Oreos and bag of Swedish fish, still wrapped in a Walmart bag.
Oh my God.
For context, I would eat these two snacks when I was a 12-year-old vegan because there weren't any other options for sweets. I don't care for either now due to the abundance of better options. Few other plastic Walmart dollar section Christmas baubles were below the snacks. Around the snacks that I was going to give away were 2 pairs of pajamas for my husband and I. My parents started the Christmas pajama tradition when I was a teenager as a bid to show that we were a happy family. My pajamas could have only been described as old lady pajamas, and my husband's were plain. There's a picture attached for context. Those are the pajamas.
It looks like Mormon burial shrouds. Like, I know your parents are from Salt Lake. Do they think This looks like Puritan prison wear.
It's real intense. So, okay. We both have a gothy style and have since we were teenagers. The majority of our wardrobe is black or dark colors. Why did they think that this is what we wanted? These PJs are like very, very light blue. All right. I lifted the ugly pajamas from the box and it was empty. No more gifts. My gifts were meaningless garbage that I didn't want because my parents don't care enough to know me. In the end, I received nothing again after gifting them nice things. They know that we're struggling and any amount of help with groceries would have been more than a blessing. Instead, they sent us stuff that we do not want and did not ask for. I packed everything up for my husband to donate at his work's food and clothing drive. I would have been less insulted if I received nothing at all instead of gifts that they put zero thought into.
Yeah.
We gifted them expensive theater tickets, fancy sheets for their new mattress, and some cold weather clothing that my dad requested. We spent a couple $100s on their gifts.
Why?
Am I selfish for getting upset about their non-gifts? Do I even bother trying to correct their wastefulness and hurtful thoughtlessness in the future? Or move on and donate everything? For added context, it's not about the money. They had a $400 stereo system installed in my brother's car as his gift. Much love to you all, Ungrateful Goth.
You are not spoiled. You are not wrong.
Mm-mm.
I feel like there's a couple things happening here. The things that they're giving you, at least some of them, are based in a memory that they have of you from when you were younger. So there is a shred of, well, because our parents do this. Like, well, when I was a kid, I loved Victorian houses. And to this day, my mom is like, well, you love a Victorian house with a white picket fence. And I'm like, yeah, I guess. I mean, I've never owned one and have had a chance to.
Yeah.
They sort of cast us in aspic as a certain way. And that can be very sweet when you realize like they see you as those children. But this is hurtful because they're not acknowledging any part of who you are. The vegan thing as a kid, I get, but And I can get like, look, your parents live in like Salt Lake City. I get that they're not like up to date on like what's vegan and tasty and cool. And they might think it's a joke. But the fact that you went out of your way several times to be like, we could use a trade, like very simple things, and they ignored it. I think you are well within your right to be frustrated because you're right. It isn't about the money. It's hurtful. What's hurting is that they didn't see you. Like had your mom made you homemade vegan cookies, you know, or something that showed like, hey, we're seeing that you're struggling, but it feels cold, like, or this is the best that they can do. But I think you feel like you're being a little bit punished for being this like gothic vegan daughter that like moved to New York City. I bet they don't feel connected to you. I think it's worth saying this was extreme, like point blank. This was incredibly hurtful, and don't be emotional about it, and get them on the phone. And just be like, I told you what I'm going through. And you guys you don't seem to care. Why would you ask her? Be like, why would you send these pajamas?
Yeah, before she said they spent $400 on the car stereo, which is really the wrench in this for me. I was thinking, well, maybe they could only spend $10 and they spent $10 at the dollar store rather than give you a $10 Trader Joe's gift card because they think that looks however it looks. But the $400 stereo for your brother is like, imagine if they had given this question asker $400 Trader Joe's gift card, what that would have meant to them. Like, it's so like, odd.
$400 stereo is not a nice stereo.
Well, yeah. I mean, also, did they buy it off a man in a white van? But I wonder, did the brother love stereo equipment when he was a kid? So that's still the thing they're stuck in with him. And they're like, he's stereo equipment, she's vegan. And that's
I get that. And again, like, part of it is like your parents see you a certain way and all kids struggle with that. And I know that feeling where you're like, I would have rather had no gift because now rather than me not caring, I'm upset because you're demonstrating how little you care. So you're within your rights, but I also think you should say something because at least then you will be heard. And you can say, this isn't about the money, but like we took the time to give you thoughtful things. And you gave me something like in a Walmart bag. Like, it's okay if you don't understand sustainability, but like, why would you send this? It feels like you don't take me seriously. Like you don't love me.
Odd. It's very strange. And in the context of this question asker basically saying that she realized she was not in a good like household growing up, I wonder if it's that golden child syndrome of the other kid.
That's
gets
what I'm saying.
Everything.
You're this like vegan, gothic, non-Utahian. And so they kind of don't know what to do. And it's frustrating because you're like, we don't have to be the same. I'm telling you. Like, you didn't ask for anything weird. You asked for like grocery. And it's
But
sweet
they
that your
bought
mom-
the coat.
They got the coat for the husband.
Does it
Now-
come down to them not liking gift cards? Like if you said,
Maybe,
hey,
but wait. I don't know how much that coat was. Like, let's say the coat was $200. Like, that could be, so they might think, okay, we got him the coat. We sent you this thing. I think your parents are just misguided. I don't have any experience with like people with like a mental disorder. And you're saying that this is not abusive, but you grew up in like this odd house. And I would have been totally out except for the fact that your mom's like, I wanted you to have something to open. So there is a shred of love there. Like someone who fully doesn't like their kid wouldn't care if you had something to open.
There's
and I'm
logic.
sure the thought was like, we were at Walmart. I saw these pajamas. Like it's faulty logic. There is something in there. So I think it's worth saying to her, this was just really hurtful. Like I really put thought into my gifts and this just felt like I was an afterthought. Because it says you grabbed it all at Walmart. It's tough because had she sent nothing, now she's making you feel bad about this gift because you'd rather have no thought than thoughtless.
Well, yeah, it's like, why did you ask me what I wanted if you're just giving me
say that
stuff?
Why did you even ask me what I wanted?
Yeah. Yeah, but this is the kind of thing where it's tough because you feel like ungrateful. Even
No,
though
you
you're
shouldn't.
totally within your right. No, you shouldn't. Yeah.
You shouldn't. Here you are, like without a job, scrimping and saving, living the sustainable life, which somehow has been put on us as like everyday consumers. Like we should be using wax reusable paper. Meanwhile, we're dumping poison in our oceans. And your parents spent all this money to send you a bag of garbage.
It's odd.
It's hurtful. It's hurt. You're hurt. And I think you're within your right to express that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
All right. I have a Christmas question for you.
Fucking bring
Hey,
it on.
gang. Love the pod. Thank y'all for always giving me a laugh in the mornings before I go brave the wild, AKA be a teacher in Texas.
Woof. Just kids giving birth, guns going off, people mispronouncing words like ran, left and
Some
right.
context for my question. I'm a 27-year-old female, and I've been seeing a man, 29 male, who's a father of a precious toddler. He's super sweet, and we're having a good time getting to know each other, although it has been a little tough on me, as I've never dated a man with a child before. And not only is he very involved, he has a job that requires him to travel often. He's in pharmaceutical sales. It's still early, and I'm keeping an open mind about this experience. Here's my question. How could I help him make Christmas still feel special, as it will be his first Christmas without his son?
Aw.
He's been very vulnerable with me about the fact that he's not looking forward to it as much as usual because he knows it's going to feel different and be tough on him. So I assume the kid will be with the mom. I've gotten him a beard care kit as a small gift, and I'm considering getting him and his son tickets to Monster Jam in January. His son really likes cars, mainly because I love shared experiences, and there's a cheap ticket option. Do you think I'm on the right track, or should I just make sure he knows that I'm a listening ear? I mainly feel like I need outside perspective because I show I care about people by gift giving. So it doesn't feel like, quote, too much to me, but I kind of struggle to think of other ways. Thanks so much. Love you guys.
I am a big gift giver as well. I think that's incredibly sweet. I feel like as women,
Yeah.
we always get sucked into these beard care kits because we're like, look, you use shitty deodorant and you own one shirt. Take care of your beard. Every woman in her 20s has gifted like the art of shaving kit. I remember going to the mall to purchase this, and then and that was for like a different boyfriend, and then I kept that boyfriend and I married Noah, and now I have so many beard care. No, but I'm giving Noah like nice beard care stuff. Meanwhile, like they do not care.
No.
I think that's very sweet, and I think it would be really sweet if on Christmas he can open that, and you're like, so you have something to do with something to look forward to with your son. You are doing so much. That's great that's your. By the way, I'm sure he'd rather your love language be gift giving versus like sensual discussion. So yeah, no man's like, oh man, more presents. I want her to talk more.
I think it also means a lot that your gift shows acceptance of his son, because I'm sure it's hard to date at 29 with a son.
I thought you were going to ask about like, am I going to get stuck with the son while he's traveling? And this isn't on you. And you just started dating, and It's funny because he's like, this will be my first Christmas without him. It's like, you haven't had him for that many Christmases. He's a toddler, so maybe 2, maybe 3. So that's sweet. You're doing well. Concern yourself less with how much you're showing him you care, okay? This is the guy. You are the catch. He is the guy with the kid. He needs to be showing you how he's going to make room for you and also be there for his kid. So you've done your part, okay?
Yeah.
And that's hard for him. Maybe he doesn't need to spend Christmas with you. Like, you are involved in this too, okay? Do you even want to be a stepmom? Think about yourself.
Yeah.
You've done perfectly. Bravo.
Good work.
The art of shaving. Shame.
Top of the Cob.
It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
Oh God. Okay. I'm just going to get this out of the way. My bottom of the cob is this interaction.
Oh, no.
I was at an event and I have to like unburden myself of this because I have to talk through this because I felt really bad about this. An event and I see a woman that I recognize from a lifetime ago. There's 2 women standing there. So I go up to the one woman, we'll call her A, and then there's another woman named B. And I'm like, hey, how are you? And I made the mistake of turning to B and not saying, nice to see you again, which is what you always have to do. Because if you don't and you say nice to meet you, you leave yourself open to, yeah. B
it's so tough.
looks at me and goes, and she says her name. And then, of course, I recognize the name, kind of not really the face. And I go, oh, sorry. Like, hey, you look great. I go, so sorry. She goes, you didn't remember me last time. She goes, you've actually done this to me a couple of times.
Oh, no.
And in the moment, I'm processing several things. The first of which being that I felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
But also for my own PTSD, like, it's not a woman, but like male comics that are like, I can't believe you don't remember me. And I'm like, do you know how many shows I do? I do at least 4 shows a week. And I've been doing comedy for almost 20 years. And we're talking just local shows. And we're saying at least. And these are not shows where I sit and I talk to everyone. You're in a green room, you're out of it. And it always bothers me, this like weird standard. When you meet someone, like you don't know what you mean to them and what they wanted from that interaction. And I'm disgusted at how comics will be like, I can't believe you don't remember me. I would never say that, ever. In fact, I saw a neighbor of mine. I've had dinner at their house. And I went up and I was like, hey, Rami, it's Iliza. And he was like, yeah, I know who you are. I always reintroduce myself because you give that person the chance to be like, of course I know who you are. Like, I got invited to perform at Jon Stewart Stand Up for Heroes. And when I saw him after my set, I was like, hey, it's Iliza. He's like, I just saw, And in that moment, I realized she said that to me because it means something to her that I would remember her. And so there's like a power in that. So clearly I've hurt her feelings, which of course is never my intention. And for all the shit that I get, like, I don't think I've ever like gone out of my way to be mean to someone.
Yeah,
so
you're not
now
pretending to not remember someone.
I genuinely don't, and which makes her feel even worse. But so I'm sitting there and now I'm like cold sweating, having like an out of body experience talking with A, half listening, but really thinking about this. And B did not leave. She just kind of stood there. And I stopped my conversation. I turned to her. I go, hey, by the way, clearly this like has upset you. I apologize. I'm sorry. Like trying to have a human moment. And then I said,
what else could they want?
And then she goes, you saw me at a party at the Comedy Store and you asked me if I work there. She remembers that this happened. And what she doesn't understand is that I make candy every year for the employees of the Comedy Store and of the Improv. And there is a rotating cast of security, door guys, and waitresses. And out of uniform it's difficult to know who's who because keep in mind, you don't see these waitresses in the light. You see people in the dark. I come in, I do my set, I leave. And the waitresses that I recognize have been there for years. So when I ask, and I ask a lot of comics who I don't know, do you work here? I'm not saying it, do you work here? I need a drink. I'm saying, do you work here so I can give you candy?
Right.
But she doesn't know any of that. And so she remembered that as this time that I thought of her as like a waitress, not a comic. And that hurt her feelings. But of course, my side doesn't matter because when you're the more successful or famous, you are just a monster. But I remembered that interaction because like here I am, like half in the light, like on having a vodka, like just trying to hand out candy and be nice. And so I was just like, it makes you feel better. I forget a lot of people's names, you know? And she kind of like wasn't letting me off the hook because I've clearly hurt her feelings.
Yeah.
It wrecked the rest of my night.
Yeah.
I was leaving anyway.
Stressed out.
And I'd had like 2 hot chocolates. So I was like, I had like a lot of sugar. And I went home and I just like had to like talk myself through this. I'm like, I didn't really do anything wrong. And I'm like, I couldn't believe the balls. Like, you're like, I'm just going to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, as if like, wow, you really got me. So it went from me being like, let me create some space. Hey, I'm really sorry. And to not extend back like, hey, it's cool. And I do that to people. I'm always like, hey, you probably don't remember. So I guess what I take away.
Yes.
No, I guess what I take away from it is like, you never know what your, I guess, approval means to people. And I don't take it lightly. And I just feel, and maybe other people feel like this, I feel so harshly judged if and when I do fuck up. And I have to be honest, I left that party and I was like, this is why I don't go to a lot of things because I'm so sensitive. And when you bring vulnerability and kindness and authenticity to things and you try to like own your shit, nobody wants to hear it. Like, I'm not saving the world, but like, it doesn't matter how many comedians you create opportunities for or people that you help or things that you do. It seems to be that like all you're ever like really dinged for is when you fuck up a little bit. And it's a choice to not totally withdraw. And if there's a reason as you get more successful, people have smaller circles. Like I can't leave myself open. I have to be honest, at that same party, another girl came up to me who's a comic and she was like, I read your book. I'm a mom too. And like, I'd never met her. Like, I'm just constantly trying to be the best version of myself. And like, it has to be okay that you fall short of it. And I think it hurt because I was trying to, in that moment, be like, I am so sorry. Like, I did not mean to make you feel that way, which is a fuck ton more than most people in Hollywood or in this world will ever give you. And she was just like, it clearly has bothered her forever. And what I should have said to her was, I'm sorry, have we ever had a meaningful exchange? No, seriously. Have we ever talked about something other than good set? Have I ever seen you for anything other than for a second in the back of a room? Because I promise you're not on 99% of the shows that I do. And the last time I saw you, that exchange was maybe 3 years ago.
Well, okay, there are a few additional factors here as someone from the outside who worked in a comedy club. Number one, all the waitresses, they only hire like hot girls, so she shouldn't be mad. So, but we just had someone write in about being mistaken for working there.
Yes.
And our consensus was kind of like, I mean, it sucks.
But I didn't think she worked there. I was just trying to suss out, do you get candy or do you not?
Do you get candy? No, I know. So that's also an important piece of it. Another important piece that does not get this person off the hook, but I will just say is that I'm sure, this is not an excuse, but I'm sure women in comedy feel more prickly about any perceived slight because they are facing more of them. So she was ready to be mad because she's used to this treatment. Now, that does not give her an excuse to not accept your apology when you genuinely
She did, but it was very like, it's fine. It's fine. Like, it was very like, I'm still going to make you feel uncomfortable because of what you did to me. And it's like, look, you're entitled to that.
Yeah.
I can only control how I feel, but I do feel like, truthfully, I wanted to say, have we ever had a meaningful conversation? No.
The candy thing is just you in a rush because you go to the comedy clubs, you go to 2 comedy clubs, you have like stacks of candy you made all day. You spent making it. You're just like, do you get candy? Do you get candy? Do you get candy? Like, and if it's any of the faces you don't see all the time, you're gonna be like, what if you hadn't asked her and she had worked there and then she hadn't
get any
candy? Then what?
And so, I'm not gonna say this person's name, and I doubt anyone will figure this out. And I'm sure if she ever listens, what will be the takeaway is that like I'm awful. So I do feel bad. I never want someone to feel bad, but like we're all doing our absolute best. And also like I meet, and this isn't like, oh, I'm so cool. Like I'll get fans that are like, I met you in Denver. Do you remember? And it's like, I just also
you
like,
remember some things, but your brain only has so much space.
Also, I had a baby. So like your mind is extra mush.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even offering excuses. Like in the moment, I was like, I'm really sorry. But what I should have said was, have we ever seriously had a meaningful interaction? No. The answer is no, because we don't actually know each other. And you want me to validate you. And I don't look for other people's validation like that. Like when I see Jerry Seinfeld or Kevin Hart, I always say my name again. And they're always like, yeah, of course. I always give the person the chance to at least say something versus like, how dare you?
Some people are also very good at a fake recognition. There is one comedian I'm thinking of in particular who was always so lovely to me. And then I saw her do it to someone else in the exact same way, the exact same intonation, the exact same. And I was like, oh, she's just very good. And she might be a fine person, but she's very, very good at
this is why
putting
Hollywood
on that air of friendly.
Hollywood gets the reputation for people being fake. Because if you show any degree of being a fucking flawed human, people who are not as successful as you will eat you alive.
Yeah. I thought for sure this person knew my name, that she remembered me. And then someone else clocked it and was like, no, she does that to everybody. I was like, oh my God, I felt so seen. Yeah. So good on her. My bottom is I'm avoiding my neighbors who I had just met a couple months ago. They're like my age. They're like cool. They have a cat, but we talk too much about cat stuff. And so now I don't want to run into them and have them be like, how's your cat? And I'm like, she's dead. So I'm just, every time I see them outside, I go back inside. So
that's a weird choice.
My bottom.
All right. Well, hopefully work through that. My top of the cob is for my 40th birthday. I am going to Iceland, but I've also decided to have a real birthday party, and it's going to be a rave. And
haven't you already done that?
No, Emily, I haven't. It was the vibe of my special, but that's like a little different. I'm going to get
goth.
We did a goth birthday, which was dope. Okay. I'm going to get a warehouse. And so the party planner came yesterday to like talk about it. And in my head, we were talking about like EDM music. Darude's Sandstorm was playing, and that's the song that's like. She didn't know that was in my head. And I, being so involved in my own thoughts, every couple minutes kept going. And then about an hour into our meeting, I stopped and I go, I'm sorry. I've been singing a song. She goes, oh my God, I thought you were just like making robot noises. Like this is how powerful perception is. Like in my mind, I'm like, of course she's going to know that this is that famous song. And of course she's hearing what I'm hearing. But what she's hearing is me saying like, yeah, we can do a deposit on. Anyways, top of the cob is going to be, I'm going to force myself to have a birthday.
It'll be fun. Make them do tests. Make them do the test.
I'm going to, you got a test and you come in and do it. And I won't have most of the stuff they have at raves because too much plastic, but there will be a fun photo booth. And Emily, I suggest you fly in for it.
Okay, I'll get to work on that.
Merry Christmas. You guys.
Top.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My top of the cob.
What if my top of the cob was you not having a top of the cob?
Too bad you already did one. You have to call that card earlier. Okay. My top of the cob is I hang out with a friend I hadn't seen in like 9 or 10 months.
George?
Again, because of the death. No, I see him all the time. Because of the death of my cat, she's like, can I take you to dinner? And I'm like, okay. And it was nice to hang out with someone I hadn't seen in months, and it felt like I had just been talking to them. So, that kind of friendship where it's like, you can just hang, like it's the same as if we had talked every day. It was nice.
Funny you say that because the top of my cob was almost going to be like low maintenance friends where you just click back in and it's easy, which is like the only kind of friend I want. Mm-hmm. Folks, it is the Wednesday before Christmas. I hope that you guys have a really sugar-filled, warm, low-key, lovely holiday. I will be spending my Christmas Eve with our half Jewish family, half not even Christian, just half not Jewish. Small Christmas Eve, and then we'll be going to his mother's for Christmas Day. Whatever they want to do, we do. Because I'm just there for the free shrimp. Merry Christmas.
Shrimp.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays. Glory be to the winter gods. A festive Yule. Happy Kwanzaa. And all the other holidays that we have put in the month of December, which probably didn't even exist at the inception of those holidays. I just want you all to know that we really love doing this podcast. Of course, I always want you to leave a nice review, like, subscribe, and share it with people. But I have so much fun doing this. And
They're hearing from us again before 2023. We have another episode this year.
I was just having a nice Christmas toast. But you know what?
Okay.
Fuck everyone. I'm out of here.
This Thanksgiving, Butterball wants you to really connect. Let's get back to sharing traditions together around the table. Let's talk like we used to. We'll help with the turkey so you can enjoy every moment. Visit Butterball.com for turkey tips.